Let's hear it.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it is. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA, and we're going to be talking about direct mail today. A lot about direct mail. It's going to be a good show. Found some really good articles, and I really appreciate that. But before we do that, let's get over to the fun. And this is a new spot by Flintstones Kids. Let's see. Flintstones Vitamins.
Action. We're Flintstones Kids. 100 million strong and growing. We've been around a while.
I think I knew about nutrition.
That's why our multivitamins have
Thing or two about nutrition.
Lots of what we need
as we grow up big and strong. With many vitamins and minerals
from vitamin A to zinc. We're the #1 choice of real families.
So you can focus on what matters most.
Okay, so there we go. Flintstones Vitamins. Okay, I learned a bit about that today. Yes, I did. Here we go. And so oops, wrong button. Flintstones Perfectly Imperfect. Flintstones Vitamins campaign celebrates the reality of parenting, or maybe the reality of kids. Sort of. Okay, but by trying to get kids to say the most amazing things, as I think Art Linkletter used to say, kids say the darndest things. It's, you could consider it like outtakes if you want, but they let it alone because, much of the fun is what kids say that, surprises you because it kind of makes sense, but it's not what you expect. It's always unexpected. As a father of 4 and now grandfather of 3, it's fun. And so it was that the thought was to absolve parents of the pressure to be perfect by demonstrating the beautiful and complicated realities of growing up. And the reality is it's hard to say big words sometimes, or they surprise you and pick up big words. When my oldest granddaughter was about, I don't know, 1.5, 2, she just hadn't been talking. What did she say? That's the trouble. You have to write these things down because they go by so fast and they're so funny at the time. Something like best life ever, or something like that. And she'd heard it from her mom saying it. It's like, we said, "How are you doing today?" And she said something like best life ever. It's so funny. Anyway, so kids make mistakes, they stumble over, and one of the tricky parts about life is that social media sometimes gives you the impression that everything's perfect all the time. So Flintstones Vitamins is reshaping its marketing strategy to resonate more deeply with parents. And I think it's just fun to have kids in the commercial. I think you'll get more visibility. I think people like that, share it. That's sort of fun. So the agency is called Analog Folk, which is interesting. Throwback analog, as opposed to digital. Bill Brock said, "We all know the societal problems caused by social media projecting an unrealistic image what life should look like. All our friends nowadays, they're all going to exotic places, Italy or Fiji or Bali or someplace. And we go to the Tuesday night film in the park in Oconomowoc, which is kind of exotic, I suppose. But they say parenting and childhood is wonderfully imperfect. Yeah, my parents were, I was, and it's messy, beautiful. And Bill says he couldn't be prouder. That's some nice thoughts there, don't you think? Some nice thoughts. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so now this is a really excellent article, I think, by Leah Rothschild, and who's the founder and CEO of Pact with Purpose, where business gifts foster meaningful relationships and create deep social impact. Well, I'm not sure about all that, but it is a well-written article and lots of footnotes, and I really like footnotes. That's the amazing part. In an uncertain environment, it's common for businesses to cut their marketing budgets as they tighten their belts and focus on tactics that drive the most return on investment, which, those two things are not incompatible, right? You can focus on ROI. You don't have to cut your budget, but sometimes you can cut your budget when you find out how much you're wasting. That 30% budget cut that she talks about, 30% of respondents in a World Federation of Advertisers survey, which is over here, 30% of advertisers are cutting their budgets. Boom. Okay. And by Daniel Konstantinovich, looks like. The ad downturn is expected to extend past summer, past the holiday season into, oh, this is from a year ago. Well, anyway, so she's citing 30% said their 2023 advertising budget will increase by, well, 40% expected it to stay the same, and 30% said it's going to go down, which, is probably not that uncommon. But anyway, I shouldn't have read all the way through there. Wow. 42% said they were going to spend more on digital advertising next year, and 50% are planning to cut offline ad spending. So I read too much. I only read the headline before, which is not what Liat, I don't know how to pronounce that, Liat Rothschild is talking about. They're saying that a surprising shift in spending to more traditional advertising can help marketers cut through the clutter of digital techniques. And they cite this Harvard Business Review, why marketers are returning to traditional advertising. Excellent, excellent article. I had it all highlighted up, but now I'm not. It looks like this is from a year or two ago also. So maybe I don't know if that's a man or woman. I don't know what that is. But anyway, consumers are spending most of their waking hours online. And this is a really interesting article about the shift. Though, as I said, it's a little bit dated, it looks like. But excellent, excellent. And it'll be up in the show notes in a few minutes, right? So why brands might consider direct mail, and these are some ideas I haven't really touched on, although I touch on a lot of ideas on why you should consider direct mail. Endless advertising messages on their screen, right? This was a good one. The right time to the right person, which was a mantra, has always been a mantra of digital advertising. We can get that ad right in front of the right person right now, which of course is a myth. Why? Because I don't know what I want right now. I'd have to think about it. Right? I want some people to try mail. I want them to call me up and say, hey, we're thinking of this. What do you recommend? And we'll talk about services in a minute. But, but I get ads every day in LinkedIn for digital lead generation, and most of them, I get emails every day also. And most of them violate the CAN-SPAM federal regulations on email. And I sometimes write back and say, if you're going to violate the law to send me an email, there's two main violations that happen. One is no clear unsubscribe button or link. And the other is no physical address. Businesses have to show their physical address in their spam messages. You may not know that, but we always do it, the WDMA, of course, right? That's part of why we do it. So this idea that this idea that you can get the ad to the right person at the right time, I'm pretty sure it was never true, right? So physical mail is something people look forward to. He or she cites the surveys that we've seen by Lob and by USPS. Here's a big one that people forget. You also don't need a prospect opt-in, right? So even in the UK, if you have a regular practice of, say, a postcard saying, we haven't heard from you in a while. Would you like to to keep in touch, that can be exempted from GDPR. If you just do it once to try to renew everybody's email, that may cause you problems. But in the United States, no problem with it at all, and Canada also, I believe. So sometimes direct mail can include corporate gifts. I'm a big believer in B2B of three-dimensional mail. And I told you in the past about when I worked at an ad specialty company, and we doubled the size of it in 3 years, from let's see, 10 million to about 20 million, which is a nice growth. In the midst of that, one of the big things we had fun with was sending three-dimensional mail to our best customers, and sending something relatively expensive like a $15 gift to 500 of our best customers, and then the next month we would send more like 5,000 gifts, and that would be like a $2 or $3 item. And then the next week we would send a penny's gift, like an imprinted Band-Aid in an envelope, to 10,000 past customers. Let's see what they said. So that you can do a lot with gifts. You can do a lot with, put a lot of things in the mail. It's always good if it makes a little rattle, if you have a little box. How to get started with gifts. First, the data. I'm always amazed when people are doing lead generation, how few send the physical address, who collect the physical address. And the truth is, it's very difficult. We have a registration on the WDMA, on our post, wdma.org. It's loading slowly lately. I'm going to have to look into that. But I'm surprised a lot of people don't fill it in. We really don't have the ability to mail people in WDMA. Now, one of the commitments I've made with WDMA is not to blow the budget on anything, really. So we have meetups where we just get together at a place and time and have a good talk about what we're doing in advertising, what has worked lately, and what you might want to avoid. That's always a great conversation. We're having one in Minnetonka, hopefully next Thursday. There's some family issues that may cloud that up. We're going to have to see. But so far, mark your calendar. Next Thursday, 6 p.m. Minnetonka. Maybe you can meet without me. That would be okay too. So find your mix. Direct mail and gift giving tactics are one arm of a data-driven multi-channel strategy. They go on to say, some ideas for gifts are a gift following your first meeting. I've seen a lot of people, if they're having a Zoom meeting, especially when we couldn't get together, they would send a meeting preparation pack or something like a coupon for Starbucks coffee, or some other snacks that you could eat while you were watching the Zoom. A gift celebrating a key workplace milestone. That's the kind of thing that is hand done. It's not gonna help you if you have a massive mailing list. IBM used to send a silver spoon to their employees when they had a new child. They would wait 10 days though to make sure everything was fine. That is a hand done. You can do those. You can have those ready to go. And a customized outreach following an effective automated email campaign. Now that one I'm a little more mystified by, because it's a specific time along the buyer journey, but the automated email usually, it could be retargeting with mail, and that's also another option that we've talked to a bunch on that show. So the last thing I'm going to touch on is why marketers. No, that's not it. Oops, gotta go one more over. Okay, direct mail services. This was in Forbes just the other day, and August 6th, and it's about real estate direct mail services. I thought I'd highlight that one up too. And it could be, but it doesn't need to be real estate. Kathy Hahn, looks like. It's really hard to read these things. Helps small business, and so it could be a lot of things. And they rated Deluxe Checks PS Print. These links are live, and so they will take you to the article where they give a more detailed explanation of why they rated this best overall. Postcard Media came in second, Modern Postcard third, and most of them are all rated fairly highly. Canva was, by here it gets down a little, but that's because Canva doesn't do the mailing, they just do the templates. Vistaprint has good templates, and all of these are spelled out. It's a very extensive article, so if you go to wdma.org, and if it's in the members area, so you have to subscribe. If you subscribe, put your street address in there if you have the time. They looked at delivery time, print quality, design, features, pricing, customer service, and other reviews. Do the reviews match the services that they offer? And then start with your budget. Direct mail services typically range in price from 15 cents per piece to over $1 per piece. Be sure to compare pricing among several services before making the final decision. Yeah, the 15 cents probably doesn't include addressing and mailing and postage. Might. Consider your needs. Not all real estate services are created equal. Some offer more features than others, so be sure to choose a service that offers the features you need. And this is a big help. It has check boxes and all sorts of things. Down here is a little bit of check boxes. This is a summary, and this also has links, I believe, to. I guess this one doesn't. I think I just copied this one, but this one gives you the ranking and with their logos nicely, and then you can click on the links up above. Okay, get a free sample. Many of them have free samples. Get quotations. All good. Best postcards, notably, is not on the list. Neither is Market Builders, two companies that support the WDMA. None of those other ones do support the WDMA, sadly, except in conversation. So there's some places to start. There are other places. Talk to somebody who knows. Give me a call. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.